If he loses, man, what? You're fucked, dude.
I'm fucked. If he loses, I'm fucked.
It does seem that way. You can't just be like, yo,
Yeah, I'm like, how long do you think my prison sentence is going to be? Do you think? Will I see my children? I don't know.
because it's not like you can say, well, yeah, I maxed out to him, but I get. You were
I have no plausible deniability. No, and I've been trashing Kamala nonstop.
Oh, I know.
Well, the Kamala puppet, I call her. The machine that the Kamala puppet represents.
Yeah, she's irrelevant. I mean, she's not even.
No. I made a joke which I realized I deleted, which is like nobody's even bothering to try to kill Kamala because it's pointless. What do you achieve? Nothing.
No, it's totally
Just find
right.
another puppet.
Exactly. That's
It's no point in killing.
it's deep and true, though.
Nobody's trying to kill Joe Biden.
It's
It would be
bless you.
pointless.
Totally. You actually put that up?
Yeah. Now, some people interpreted it as though I was calling for people to
Of course.
assassinate her, but I was like, no, even I was like, doesn't it seem strange that no one's even bothered to try?
It's not worth it.
I mean,
There's an endless supply.
yeah, like nobody would. It's absurd.
It could be anybody.
Yeah. Nobody's gonna try to. Nobody tries to assassinate a puppet.
Of course not. A marionette.
Yeah, marionette. It's just like,
It's hilarious.
Yeah.
What?
She's safe. Like, I like to try to kill Trump twice with actual guns and bullets.
Oh yeah.
Shot in the ear right in fucking Butler where I was, and
He doesn't seem rattled. It's weird. Does he to you?
it doesn't seem what?
Rattled.
He has the constitution of an ox. It seems. It's not like working out and eating healthy. And he's
Okay, we gotta tape this.
Yeah, we're good.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
So
he's not like, let me eat another salad. That's not. No, or work out. Fastidiously. That's he. I feel like hell he doesn't work out, and he eats cheeseburgers and Diet Coke and stuff, and because I think it just inherently has a strong constitution.
So when you were just with him, he didn't seem like a man who'd been the subject of 2 assassination attempts.
No, he seemed of sound mind and body and strong backbone.
Did you?
I mean, that's what I said in the thing. Which,
Yeah.
The remarks I made there were impromptu. There was no teleprompter or anything. I was speaking extemporaneously.
Are you the only rich guy who doesn't have like a media consultant?
No, media consultant.
Yeah, no, I've noticed.
Obviously.
Yeah.
I mean, no, I just thought about what I want to say, and I just spoke off the cuff. No teleprompter, nothing.
Good for you.
Yeah. I can talk. Just look like now. I'm just talking. Look at me. Wow, amazing. Can you believe it? I can talk without a teleprompter. That's crazy.
But if he loses, it's going to be hard for you to pretend you never supported him.
All in. In the deep end.
Yeah, no, you are definitely in the deep end. You cannot touch bottom.
No, I'm like rolling around. I'm like a pig in mud. I'm like, it's all in, baby.
Is it fun?
Yeah, it's pretty fun.
How hard?
I mean, there may be some, in the hopefully unlikely event that he loses, there may be some vengeance on me.
Were you kidding?
I mean, it's possible.
It's possible. You've got to be one of the biggest government contractors.
We do essential work for the government.
Yes.
Yeah, but it's not like, we do useful, essential work.
Right.
That we compete for and win contracts on because our product is much better and costs less. That's why we get government contracts.
No, I know.
and I mean, if you take, for example, the NASA contract to transport astronauts to and from the space station, NASA awarded 2 contracts at the start, one to Boeing and one to SpaceX. Boeing was awarded twice as much as SpaceX. SpaceX has done all the astronaut transport from the space station, and and Boeing has only done one transport of 2 astronauts to the space station, and we had to bring them back. Boeing got twice as much as SpaceX. There's this total misunderstanding that my companies have been subsidized and supported by the government and get all these, and it's like, do you really think that a Biden administration is going to subsidize me?
Probably not.
Are you kidding? No. In fact, they take away every contract they possibly can. So, for example, there was the FCC contract to $42 billion for providing rural broadband.
Yes.
Okay. We actually first said, look, we think there shouldn't be any subsidies, so we recommend that this program just not exist. But since you're insisting that it exists, we will compete, and we have better products. So we won, I don't know, about a quarter of it, which would have included the devastated areas like North Carolina and stuff, and the FCC took it away illegally. They just voted. 3 out of 5 commissioners voted away and said, even though you want it, we're rescinding it.
On what grounds?
And do you know how many people they've connected?
How many?
0.
So you think that was political?
Well, the 3 Democrats voted against it, right. And the 2 Republicans voted for it.
So you tried to get Starlink.
Yes.
Into North Carolina, into Western North Carolina, the areas devastated by the hurricane.
We have got it is in there, and it is the primary means of communication in the devastated areas.
You had conflict with Buttigieg over this.
Well, I raised I said, look, we had delivered. We've been delivering Starlink terminals there for a while, and obviously some people already had them since they just, private individuals had Starlink there already. We delivered really thousands of terminals, and got all the way up to the areas where they wouldn't let us go any further, and then we're like, okay, we're going to send helicopters in, and find people who are stranded and give them Starlink terminals, which I think is a nice thing to do.
Yeah.
Okay. They wouldn't let us land because there was an FAA notice to M and NOTAM that said in order to land, you have to know who you're going to meet with to land. Now, the problem is we're trying to deliver internet communications. People don't have internet communications. We don't know who they are, but then they can't reach us because they don't have communications. Do you see the catch-22 here?
Yes, I do.
Insane. So it's obviously impossible for people who don't have internet communications to let us know who they are because they don't have the internet.
Yes.
Yes. And so,
did you explain this to the federal government?
Yes.
What did they say?
They fixed it.
How was Buttigieg when you talked to him?
It was actually good. So I want to be
Yeah.
I want to give Buttigieg some credit here.
Yes.
First, when I complained about it, he reacted in a very level-headed way, and he reached out to me and he called me.
Yeah.
And we discussed the issue, got to the bottom of it, and he fixed it.
Good.
So credit to Buttigieg.
Yeah. Well, and to you for pushing it.
Yeah. I mean, but as soon as he was aware of the problem, he fixed it.
Well, you publicized it too on it.
Yeah.
As soon as you shamed him.
Well, but I do want to give credit where it's due.
Yeah. No, amen.
So.
I agree completely. So, but back to the original question, about the potential consequences if, having gone all in, this doesn't work.
Yeah.
I mean, you had to have thought about this long and hard before you did it. What was your thinking?
I mean, yeah, so my view is that if Trump doesn't win this election, it's the last election we're going to have. That the Democrats, the Dem machine, has been importing so many people, bringing in so many illegals, flying in with this like CBP border app thing that nobody even knew about, like secret program. That's illegal, basically. It's illegal, but there's no action by DOJ to actually to stop it from happening. They're transporting large numbers of illegals to swing states. If you look at the numbers, these are the numbers from the government website. So like from the Democrat-administered government websites. Like, where do you get this data? From the government website that is run by Democrats. There are triple-digit increases in illegals to all the swing states. And in some cases, it's like 700% over the last 3 years. Now, these swing state margins are, sometimes 10, 20,000 votes. So what happens if you put, hundreds of thousands of people into each swing state? And when somebody is granted asylum, they are fast-tracked. They can get a green card, and then 5 years after the green card, they can get citizenship and they can fully legally vote. And when they do so, they vote overwhelmingly Democrat. And sometimes I get this rebuttal of like, well, a lot of them, their social values don't align with sort of the far left sort of woke ideology.
Yeah.
I said that's true, but that's not their top priority. Their top priority is getting their friends and family also to the United States. And the Dems also issue all these programs, these sort of handouts, essentially, that make them beholden to the Democratic Party. So they vote Dem. That's what happens. So my prediction is if there's another 4 years of a Dem administration, they will legalize so many illegals that are there that the next election, there won't be any swing states. And we'll be a single party country, just like California is a single party state. It's a supermajority Dem state in California.
Because of immigration?
Yes. California was fairly reliably Republican.
Bill Clinton lost California in '92 and won West Virginia.
Yes. So there was a 1986 amnesty.
Yes.
Thereafter, California trended very strongly Dem, and is at this point, I think, 65-70% Dem, something like that. It's supermajority Dem. The California legislature is more than 2/3 Democrat.
Has it improved the state?
No, it's not. And California just passed, which is shocking. It's hard to believe this is even real, but California just passed a law making it illegal to require voter ID in any election at all in California. Did you know that?
No.
Yeah, Newsom signed it into law last week.
It's illegal to require an ID.
In any election, even a town council. And a friend of mine who lives in Palo Alto was like, is this actually real? And he went to vote in some city council election. He tried to show them his ID, and they said, we're not even allowed to look at your ID.
Have they extended this same...
Actually what's going on right now.
But
by the way, they're proud of it. They're not hiding it.
But it's only voting. It's not buying a gun or buying liquor or buying a pack of cigarettes or flying on an airplane or renting a hotel room. It's only voting that it's illegal to do.
Oh, if you try to buy a gun, they're going to ID you 6 ways a Sunday. Yeah, California's trying to make it basically illegal to own a gun. And the same people that demanded vaccine IDs if you want to travel or do anything are the same ones who say no voter ID is required.
Is there any reason
Obviously hypocritical.
to pass a law like that except to abet voter fraud?
It's so that fraud cannot be proven. So it enables large-scale fraud and no way to prove it, because how would you prove it? It's literally impossible. No ID. You're not even allowed to show your ID. It's insane.
Well, it is insane.
Insane. Yeah. The purpose of no voter ID is obviously to conduct fraud in elections. Obviously.
There can be no other explanation.
They come up with some nice-sounding thing.
People don't have IDs. Could you live in this country without an ID?
Yeah, their common rebuttal is it's racist to require ID, and which is insane. I think it's actually racist and patronizing to say that people can't figure out how to get ID. Obviously.
But how could you live here without an ID? I don't think it's even possible.
Can't.
Yeah.
You can't do anything.
Yeah.
you need ID for everything. Like the list of the things you need ID for is basically everything, except voting. So
you see the rest of the
it's
country.
total bullshit, obviously.
Obviously.
Yes.
But that doesn't in any way minimize the aggression or self-righteousness they bring to this conversation.
Yes.
You're a racist if you want that.
Right. Whereas, in fact, obviously, someone is racist if they say that people of a particular race cannot get ID. That's patronizing and racist. That's absurd.
Yes.
Yeah. You know, it's like when the governor of New York said people in the, ghetto don't know how to use computers or something like that. I mean, like, super out of touch.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So
it's like, hello.
So there's a really clear template.
Maybe she doesn't know how to use computers, but they do, obviously.
I don't think Hochul could use a computer.
Yeah, I don't think
She's not qualified intellectually.
Yeah, no, probably not.
But not everyone in New York is as dumb as Kathy Hochul. I think that's true.
Yeah.
So you see the other 49 states becoming California if the machine wins.
Well, you don't need all 49 to go that way. You just need enough to have the election, have there not be swing states. I mean, there are only 6 swing states.
Yep.
So there are only 6 states out of 50 right now that are in contention. So if those 6 states that are in contention by narrow margins are no longer in contention, then the only contest will be for who wins the Democratic primary. That's how it is in California. That's how it is in New York. There's no party versus party situation. The only contest is who wins the Democratic primary. And as we've seen with the appointment of Kamala, who no one voted for, even in the Democratic primary.
Yes.
Where's the democracy here?
Well, it's easier though.
I mean, it's just that the Dem Party elite just decides who is in charge. That's a tiny oligarchy basically.
Comprised of.
That's not democracy.
The richest people in the country. That's kind of the interesting part to me, is that the richest people in the country are on board with this. I mean, that's what it is. It's a collection of billionaires.
Well,
right?
most of them are, yeah.
But you're not.
Not me, and not everyone is. I think there's, but it is a shocking number of so-called billionaires are in the Dem camp, more than are in the Republican camp.
Oh, for sure.
Which is wild. So in fact, the astonishing thing in the swing states is that they're even a contest, given that the Dems have far more money than the Republicans. So the Kamala campaign dramatically outspends the Trump campaign in the swing states. The media is overwhelmingly pro-Democrat. So you've got the press is a Dem cheering squad, so. And then you've got almost all the Hollywood and entertainment, the celebrities also, endorsing Kamala and being pro-Dem. So you got the celebrities, they got the money, they got basically everything on the side of the Dems. The Republicans are the underdog here. Trump's the underdog in swing states, and still it's a contentious. It's still a 50-50 after all that.
What does that tell you?
It tells me that if people actually knew what was going on, they weren't being fed nonstop propaganda, it would be a landslide in favor of Republicans.
Yeah.
Well, how's this for crazy? Has there ever been a more volatile time in American politics? Not in our lifetimes. No one alive has ever seen anything like this. But long before things started to really fall apart, the Heritage Foundation saw it coming. Heritage has pulled together a coalition of over 100 right-leaning groups to develop a comprehensive plan for day one. That would include detailed policy proposals on the most pressing issues, the big ones: securing the border, controlling inflation, cracking down on election fraud, protecting the rights of the individual, and saving the nation from being crushed by woke anti-human ideology. The team at Heritage has also developed a plan to dismantle the deep state that keeps this nonsense going and reclaim this nation from the small group of technocrats that's broken everything. Heritage is also running a training and vetting program to identify effective conservatives to serve in the next presidential administration. people who will share your values, this country's values, and actually do the job. It can't just be the same pool of discredited people from Washington populating every administration. Heritage has a long head start, and they put in a lot of work already, but they need your support to finish the job and to support the incoming president. You can go to heritage.org/Tucker and contribute to this important work today. A lot depends on it. heritage.org/Tucker.
But why not join the easier side? I mean, you're creating problems for yourself by getting on stage with Trump. I mean, you must have had friends who said that to you.
Sure. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
But people who care about you, like, why even get involved in this?
Well, because I think we want to remain a democracy, and we don't want to become a one-party state.
Yes.
That's the reason. And it's the exact opposite. The people call Trump a threat to democracy. But the people who are saying Trump's a threat to democracy are themselves the threat to democracy.
Yes.
One-party rule is not democracy. One party where essentially the party elite pick a candidate, as happened with Kamala, is not democracy. Where did the people vote? Show me where the people voted. No, there were no people voting. It was all just Dem party elite that just appointed someone. And when the Biden puppet, when the pro-Biden puppet's ratings sagged, they knifed him in the back immediately and just tossed him out and put a new puppet on. That's exactly what happened. Tell me I'm wrong.
Well, not only are you right, I mean, it's almost not even worth criticizing Kamala Harris.
No, exactly.
What does she have to do with it?
There's no point in criticizing Kamala. She's simply the face of a much larger machine.
Yes.
And she will say whatever the teleprompter, whatever's on the teleprompter, she's going to say it.
Yes.
Now she gets stuck if the teleprompter breaks. That happened recently. I think the
Yeah.
the teleprompter stalled, and she was just like looping for a while, for about a minute. So I think that happened yesterday or something. It was pretty funny to watch. But she'll just say whatever words are on the teleprompter. So, it's really whoever controls the teleprompter is the actual sort of, that's who's actually in charge.
And who is that, do you think?
Well, I've tried to pin it down. It's not like any one kind of mastermind. It's not like, it seems to be, it's like Kamala's sort of a marionette with, 1,000 puppet masters type of thing. Like not, or maybe it's somewhere north of 100 is what it seems like.
Yes. I bet you know 80 of them.
I probably know most of them, yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, just by virtue of your job and what you've been doing for the last 30 years, I mean, you just,
Yeah.
And I should say, I think you voted for Biden.
I'd like to see a matchup of those, call it the top 100 puppet masters on the Epstein client list.
Do you think there's some overlap?
Strong overlap. Strong overlap.
When are we going to see that list, do you think?
I don't know. It's mind blowing that they've not tried to prosecute even one, not even the worst offender on the Epstein client list. They have not even tried to prosecute even one. That's insane.
Well, because they have a lot of diabetic grandmothers who were outside the Capitol on January 6th. They're kind of occupied.
Yeah, they've put like whatever 500 or 600 January 6 protesters in prison, and not one person on the Epstein client list.
Will that ever come out, do you think?
I think part of why Kamala's getting so much support is that if Trump wins, that Epstein client list is going to become public.
Yes.
And some of those billionaires behind Kamala are terrified of that outcome.
Yeah. Do you think Reid Hoffman's uncomfortable?
Yes.
Yeah.
And Gates.
And Gates.
Yeah.
And I only ask that because you just look at them and you're like, that's a nervous person right there. I don't know. I mean, I assume you know them. Yeah.
Yes. Reid Hoffman was my vice president of business development at PayPal.
Yeah.
24 years ago.
Does he seem nervous to you?
Yeah, I mean, he's terrified of a Trump victory.
Because of the disclosure that would follow?
I think he's certainly ideologically not aligned with Trump anyway, but I think he is concerned about the the Epstein situation. Like something might actually, the DOJ might actually move forward.
There are a lot of videos, apparently. Those rooms on the island, and I think out in New Mexico, were wired for video.
Right.
And
where's the video? I mean, between Diddy and Epstein, it's good. There's probably several thousand hours of footage here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird that the people on those videos are lecturing the rest of us about our moral failings, isn't it?
Yeah, it's weird.
What is that?
Well, I mean, part of how they deflect attention from themselves is by, criticizing the morals of others.
Yes.
So it's sort of like a preemptive moral strike.
Yes.
I mean, as I said, I think those who are saying Trump is a threat to democracy are themselves actually the threat to democracy.
It feels like we're getting to a place where the rest of us know too much. Is this? Do you know what I mean? I mean, it's easier to live in a society where you don't really know what the people in charge are doing or why they're doing it. But now, thanks, I would say, largely to X.
Yeah.
I think that's fair to say that.
Yeah.
We do know a lot. Not everything, but we know a lot. And I wonder, where does that, like, what happens next now that we know all this? The kidnapper's shown us his face. Like, what happens?
Well, I think if Trump wins, we can do some house cleaning and shed light on things. Yeah, all the X platform does is adhere to freedom of speech within the bounds of the law.
Yes.
And if people want to change the laws, they can change the laws. And so, like X in different countries, X does censor in countries where censorship is the law. We don't try to, push American laws in other countries, but we do try to stick to the law in any given country. That's what we're doing. We open source our algorithm. We try to be as transparent as possible. But those who want to push lies obviously hate truth and transparency.
Yes.
Because it shows them to be liars. I mean, you look at that, like how outrageous it was that Kamala in the presidential debate kept pushing the fine people hoax. They know the fine people hoax is false. Trump would never support Nazis, a Nazi rally. It's absurd. And he explicitly said that in that same speech that you must condemn anyone who has Nazi tendencies in the strongest possible terms. And yet, despite knowing that to be false, the people who wrote the speech for the Kamala puppet put the fine people hoax in the presidential debate. Deliberately lying. Again. Messed up.
If she wins, I mean, how can they let X continue in its current form, in its current role in American society?
They won't. They will try to shut it down by any means possible.
What do you mean by any means possible?
I mean, either by they'll try to pass laws. They'll try to prosecute the company, prosecute me. The amount of lawfare that we're seeing taking place is outrageous. There are many examples, but like the Department of Justice, for example, launched a huge lawsuit against SpaceX for failing to hire asylum seekers.
Come on.
Yeah,
asylum seekers?
Not asylum, those who've been granted asylum seekers. Now there's also a law called International Traffic and Arms Regulations that because SpaceX develops advanced missile technology that can be used in nuclear ICBMs, that we have to be very careful with who we hire. We can only hire someone if they're a permanent resident or a citizen. That's what the ITAR law says. Then there's another law that says that you cannot discriminate against asylum seekers. So we're damned if you do, damned if you don't. The DOJ did a massive lawsuit against SpaceX for failing to hire asylum seekers, even though it is illegal for us to hire asylum seekers under ITAR law. This is an actual thing that's going on, and they can only do a fairly small number of lawsuits every year. So why did they pick this one?
Because you own
Lawfare.
X.
Yeah, lawfare.
I mean,
Or it's like that famous quote from Beria, you know,
yeah.
Stalin's like chief torturer and head of the secret police. Beria said, "Show me the man, and I'll show you the crime."
Exactly.
I mean, we have so many laws that it is actually impossible to, impossible to do business, impossible to operate without being violating some law, because you have laws like the ones I just gave you, where both things are illegal.
Yes, they contradict one another.
They contradict one another. So it's illegal to discriminate against asylum seekers in jobs, but it's also illegal for us to hire asylum seekers.
But it
So they
discredits
just chose one. They chose the one law, and ignored the other one. And the Department of Justice at federal level prosecutors face X for that.
What do you think?
It's mad.
Well, it also discredits the idea of law, which some of us
Yes.
want to take seriously.
Absolutely. This affects both the perception of American justice and the reality of it.
Yes.
So, no, I'm actually a big fan of the American justice system, and I think, on balance, we've got still have an excellent judicial system. We still have judges that care about the letter and intent of the law. I mean, not just the letter, but also the intent of the law.
Yes.
But something that people should be concerned about is that there's an increasing movement to place activists as judges. This is, if you look at who did the Biden administration confirm as federal judges, and who've been confirmed at the state level in sort of far left states, increasingly it is not judges who care about justice, or they don't care about following the law. They care about social justice, not justice.
Right.
What they call social justice. Activists as judges. Now you got a real problem.
Do you think if
that continues, we will not have a real justice system.
Or a real country?
Yes.
I mean, yeah. But again, your purchase of X has been, I think it's fair to say, even if I hated it, I would say this because it's true, it's been pivotal in American politics.
Yeah.
And in American society. Do you think they could shut you down if the Democrats continue to hold power?
They will unequivocally try.
Yeah.
Yeah. And if they get a majority in the Senate and House and the presidency, then they can simply pass a law and delete Section 230. So simply make us liable for what anyone says on a platform with like at this point almost 600 million monthly active users.
Yeah.
Which is impossible. That's like trying to regulate speech in city of like a country.
Yeah.
So
a big country.
yeah, you'd just be instantly bankrupt.
But I bet they wouldn't withdraw legal immunity from the vaccine makers at the same time, would they?
No, that's unlikely.
Just, I mean, as long as we're withdrawing legal liability protection. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean the whole vaccine debate is a long one. I'm not anti-vaccine in general. I think we want to exercise caution with use of vaccines, but in the absence of vaccines, there would be a lot more, I think, people that have died. Like we want the smallpox vaccine. That was a good one.
It seems a good one. Yeah.
Yeah. Smallpox will kill you.
Killed a lot of people.
It killed a lot of people. It used to be a lot of people would die of smallpox, and a lot of people would get polio.
For sure.
Yeah. We had a president who had polio.
Oh, yeah. There's
Yeah.
still people, you meet people today
Yeah.
in their 80s who were limping from childhood polio.
Right. It's good that we don't have that, and vaccines, played a major role in that. So that doesn't mean that vaccines should not have any scrutiny. Of course they should. We should be making sure that the quality control on vaccines is incredibly good, since if we're giving them to children and whatnot. And we shouldn't force people to take vaccines.
That itself is a controversial statement that we shouldn't force people.
We shouldn't force people to take vaccines, no.
Yeah. So just to re-ask,
I believe in freedom.
yeah, I've noticed.
America's supposed to be the land of liberty.
Yeah.
Freedom and opportunity. So that we try to, as much as possible, maximize people's individual liberty, and that we try to be a country where you succeed based on your talent and hard work.
Yes.
Those are two fundamental values. That's what's made America great, and if we lose those, our decline will be swift.
What do you, if you had to bet? I mean, does freedom reassert itself in America, or not?
Well, that's why I think part of why this election is so pivotal. I think if we, with the Trump administration, I think we can improve the liberty of Americans. We can. I think we need to have sensible deregulation, where we keep the regulations that matter. Like we don't want to destroy, important habitats or
Yes.